Hello, my name's Joshua Baker, and I'm here to talk to you today about my second game, Robot Jack. So, Robot Jack is a Android game, and importantly, it came right after me and my other two friends who make games together, right after we finished our last game, Nemesis. So if you haven't checked out Nemesis, I encourage you to do that. But if you're here to check out what sort of Android games that I can make, you're in the right place. So, some context. Robot Jack is a game that we decided to give ourselves a very tight schedule for. So, our last game took almost over a year because we were so caught up in all the minutiae. We wanted it to be polished. We wanted it to have all this little secret stuff. Robot Jack is sort of us challenging ourselves in the opposite way. We wanted to see what can we do on a short time frame. What can we do under the context of new technology, right? We'd never worked with Android before. So that was the challenge of Robot Jack, is what kind of a game can we make in 2 months? So this entire game was on a 8-week budget of time. And importantly, the last thing that I want to tell you about this game is that even though it is an Android game, it was not made in any game engine. It was not made in Unity or Unreal Engine 4 or anything like that. This was coded basically entirely in Android Studio in Java as a way to familiarize myself with how to set up an Android application. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the gameplay. I've got a little demo here in front of us where it's going to be me playing through the game. And yeah, let's just get started. Let's take a look at that. So right off the bat, one of the things that you're going to notice is it's a 2D game with frame-by-frame animation like this. The structure of the game is like this. Your character, Jack, is over on the left, and basically the idea is with the game supports multi-touch controls. So you'd be kind of holding your phone in portrait mode, and your left thumb would be on the blue side of the screen, and your right thumb would be on the red side of the screen. And wherever your left thumb goes, that's where Jack goes. So here, we've come to the first choice in the game. Whenever you beat a level, you can either... let me go back a little bit. Okay. Whenever you beat a level, you can either put enemy skills into your deck, and we'll talk about what that is in a second, or you can gain max HP and heal to full. So the idea with this is if you had a really tough time with the level, you could gain some HP and make the next level easier on yourself. Say you are at really low health. But if you did pretty well on the level, you get rewarded with the enemy's skills. So whatever attacks they were using against you on the last level, those are going to be added to your pool of skills. So what is your pool of skills? Well, let's look up here to the top of the screen. You can see that they're kind of cycling through as I tab through them and use them. In addition to the regular machine gun fire that Jack has, he also has a big suite of skills that he can execute. And the system is fairly robust. Every skill has its own cooldown. Every skill can apply buffs and debuffs to the enemy. They have their own ranges and capabilities. And we'll probably get into how the skill system works down in the code review. But yeah, the idea is that you can tab between the 5 skills that it shows up at the top by going left and right with your thumb, swiping left and right on the red side of the screen. So that would be with your right thumb as you're holding the phone. That will switch between them. And then to execute a skill, you swipe up on the right side of the screen. And it will it will execute whatever skill is in that middle slot. So, yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, you have a whole deck of skills. It's not just the 5 skills that you can see. Whenever you use one of them, another one is taken from the deck and inserted into that slot. So you kind of have a random assortment of skills to use at any given time. You're never quite sure exactly which ones you can use. So here we're fighting sort of one of the most difficult enemies in our game. It's this little face gun, and it's very hard to deal damage to him when he is in defense mode. So that's why we took him out really like that. Okay, so you can tell right off the bat that some of the stuff in the game is obviously had a lot more time and polish put into it than other things. And this is one of the lessons that we learned by making a game on such a short time frame, is really prioritizing what you think is important. And what we thought was important in this game was not pretty assets and amazing, skill icons and that kind of stuff. What we thought was really important in this game is having a wide variety of enemies and a wide variety of skills for you to be able to use. So that last skill in the game, it's that lightning skill. And the idea with the lightning skill is the more you move around when it's in your dock, basically the longer you wait to use it, and the more you kind of jitter around, the stronger it will become. So we should see me moving around a bunch here because I'm trying to charge up this lightning. And when I use it, it goes around the entire thing and then hits everybody for a bunch of damage. So that's a really powerful skill, and it's really rewarding to move around and use it. So this is the gameplay in Robot Jack, basically. It's got a couple of levels, it's got a couple of enemies, and it's got a skill system, and that's it. It's a pretty small scope game, but it is fully functioning, right? It's fully featured. It's got a title screen. It's got a tutorial, which we didn't play because I'm here to sort of orate the process of what's the game like and what can you do in the game. So again, this was made with no engine. I had to do all of the sprite loading and drawing and animating myself. There were even some sprites that I created in this game. If you see down at the bottom, it says art is by Mitchell Keeler and Joshua Baker. Mitchell Keeler is the guy who did the title screen and a lot of the fancy assets and some of the more beautifully animated enemies. And I did a couple of other things. I did that bubble enemy that you saw near the end, and some of the effects and all of the icons in the game. So all of the art that you can see that's not super impressive was by me, but that's that's not exactly my strong suit. But it was really fun to do. I really liked to be able to do it. Okay, so that's Robot Jack. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.